Right, Tamanna. So what we do know is what actually unfolded in Bihar, right? And what this means for the other states is something that we will answer over the course of the next couple of minutes. And the first thing is that the freebie economics have taken center stage as far as state elections are concerned. Now, during the current election, the National Democratic Alliance's 10,000 rupee grant to women across Bihar was a big contributor for that vote share that they gained. During their entire poll promise, they also mentioned about 2 lakh rupees of financial support for women entrepreneurs, which would also help the women in Bihar. Of course, all of this resulted in Bihar seeing its largest turnout of women voters in its history. This is not to say that NDA is the only party doing that. Even the opposition at that point in time, when the polls were being discussed, were also promising something similar. During NDA, as well as the others, poll pitch, they were also letting out free electricity, youth employment schemes. All of these things, of course, cost money. And that's when the question arises. Does Bihar have the ability to actually afford this? If you were to look at how much these things cost, about 40,000 crore is the outlay for such schemes. That is MK's assessment of this entire situation. They believe 4% of Bihar's GDP is about 40,000 crore, and that's where the cost is. Bihar is, of course, a fiscally weak state. Its fiscal deficit to GDP is 6%. That's very, very high because they were, of course, even if you were to look at that 6% number that they have guided for, April to August is already 27% higher than the FY26 target. So it may hit 6%, it may actually exceed that 6% target by the end of this financial year. And therefore, we are talking about the fiscal weakness, and these freebies are only going to worsen that situation. We were to look at the other states, it's not just Bihar. Even in states like, say, Maharashtra, Odisha, Telangana, all of these elections, you saw similar schemes being rolled out, specifically targeted women, targeted at young people. So this is now becoming more of a reality. Next year, you've got Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and West Bengal going into polls. The year after that, Uttar Pradesh going into polls. So all of these will play a major role in these upcoming elections. If you look at where the FRBM is, which was the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act that the government had passed, that recommends a 3% fiscal deficit for states. Clearly, they are not going to meet that. That's the expectation that most economists on the street have, that states are going to breach that 3% number and end up with a weak fiscal scenario. So this is going to play a lot of serious sort of activity when we're talking about state finances and elections that are coming up.
And